Dwayne Jones here with Andrew Cherico with the Sons of UCF after the second week of spring practice has been completed with UCF football. Andrew, the second week was topped off with a scrimmage between the offense and the defense, and we got to talk with Coach Mike Dawson and the Edge Room. Tell us more about how they felt about the scrimmage.
I mean, it might be a little biased, Dwayne, but they said the defense won the scrimmage, especially the edge room. They said emerging leader on that D-line is Sincere Edwards, and they said he disrupted a lot of sets during the scrimmage. And transitioning to Coach Dawson, I mean, that guy is an effort-based guy. He wants 100% out of his players on every down, and that's what he's looking for this spring. He's not looking for the guy with the best technique, but he's looking for the guy who's going to put in effort every single play. So when they're in the season, they're having a long drive, it's a long third down, and all the players are tired. Who's going to step up and make that play? And on the other end, speaking to players, we got to speak with Malachi Lawrence and Nigel Lee Kelly. And Dwayne, we need to remember, these are two guys, a part of a returning Knights team that doesn't have that many returners from last season. So they view themselves as leaders of this defensive room, and they want to lead UCF to be among the best defense in the Big 12. Let's hear from Coach Dawson and players.
Yeah, it's great going against our offense. They're going to give you, a bunch of different looks at a bunch of different things, whether it's different formations or plays or stacks or bunches or different alignments and things like that. So you have to be on it. You have to know ahead of time, hey, this is how we're going to adjust, because you can't predict maybe what the next thing is going to be. So you got to be, you got to be coaching that ahead of time. Proactive instead of reactive coaching.
Definitely, that's our goal. We're not aiming at nothing less than that. We want to be aggressive. We want to lead the Big 12 in sacks. It's stuff like that. So just working on that, working on our pass rush, setting the edge, stuff like that.
Getting sacks, rushing the edge, setting the edge, getting TFLs, getting a lot of sacks. That's what we coming to do this year.
Dwayne, we also got to speak with one of the more unique units on this team, the special teams room, led by special teams coordinator P. Alomar and kicker Grant Reddick. What did you learn about this team? What's so special about them?
Yeah, Andrew, speaking to Coach Alomar and Grant Reddick, Alomar told us, this room is a little shorthanded, and he admitted that. They're looking to dive into the transfer portal, but they're not going to let that stop them from becoming one of the very best in the Big 12. And he also said about kicker Grant Reddick, he wants him to be an 85% kicker. He thinks if that can happen, he can be one of the best. He can have one of the best years of his career. Now let's hear from Coach Alomar and kicker Grant Reddick.
We've got three right now. We've got Grant Reddick who kicked for us last year. We got two guys that Kevin Kerrigan and Michael Carter, who are in the program as punters. The big thing right now is find out what you've got. Okay, so. We're getting a chance to work with them, find out where they're at right now, what's their potential, and then assess that, and then figure out how to make the best room.
No, you kind of want to separate those two, especially right now. We still got a little ways to the season, obviously. Right now, working on your craft, but the end goal is a percentage, so to speak, a percentage that you're trying to help your team score points. And every time we go out to take a kick, whether it's 1 or 3, you're making points for your team, so everything's important. Obviously, the goal you're striving for is 100%. So that's what's on my mind.
All right, Andrew, and finally, we got to speak to the wide receiver room, Coach Sean Beckton Sr., and some players. Tell us about this position. It's really unknown, and there's a lot of good excitement surrounding it as well.
Yeah, Dwayne, you're 100% right. This position is unknown. All the players who have returned from UCF in the previous season had near no production last year, and a lot of the guys are transfers coming in. Coach Sean Beckton Sr. talks about the cohesiveness, and they're building it with the quarterback, and they're building the chemistry, but they're working different groups out themselves. While Coach Beckton said that Coach Frost and him have a group they're comfortable with, every guy on this team is earning their role as a receiver, and Coach Beckton is tallying everything from passes, caught, to drops, to penalties, and even blocking. No block, no rock was a huge term that he used in his press conference. And we also got to speak with emerging wide receiver veterans, new veterans on this team, Dwayne Thomas Jr. and DJ Black. And these guys want to use their veteran experience to become leaders in this wide receiver room and be sure that the guys are following the right path and hopefully lead the team out on the field this year. But they promised one thing to the media while we spoke to them. They said this team will be fast.
Let's hear from Coach Beckton and some players.
Yeah, we're throwing with those guys more than I've ever thrown with the receivers, quarterbacks combination, also with the tight ends. We've done that in years past with Coach Frost. This year, because we got so many good quarterbacks that we're trying to work through, we're spending a lot. It's taken away from our indies a little bit, but we're trying to get some cohesiveness with all the quarterbacks, and we're rotating groups so the quarterbacks get a chance to experience some of the other receivers, tight ends, running backs. So that's been a little bit of a process that I hadn't been around, but I can see why we're doing it, because we're still trying to figure out what the quarterback situation is, and also receiver situation and tight ends. I think it's going really good. We started out doing it day one and have picked up on it. We've actually added a little bit more to it every single day we go out there, and I think that's helping us.
I love it. I think we spread the ball perfectly. I think we can do everything. We have the playmakers to do everything, and Coach Coop has literally every play for every single receiver, every single play style, every running back, every receiver. So it's gonna be fun. You're really gonna see it.
How versatile it is. Everybody's got to do their job for it to work. Everybody's getting the ball. We've been pounding the ball, running it every single day. Getting good yards. The running backs been running the ball pretty hard. Receivers been getting down the field, getting open. Tight ends get the rock. Good pulls, good blocks. So it's just really open for everybody.
All right, Andrew, tell me about a player that's really stood out to you so far in spring practice.
Staying on the topic of wide receivers, I think we still need to discuss new transfer wide receiver, Day Farmer. But speaking with Coach Beckton, he said he's been standing out during the spring practice. From all the social media clips I've seen and the clips I've been able to provide out on the practice field, I've seen the exact thing that Coach Beckton is talking about. His hands are sure, his speed is off the charts, and he's just as good as a route runner as any other veteran on that wide receiver locker room. So be sure to keep an eye out for Day Farmer come the fall.
For me, it's got to be Miles Montgomery, the running back. I think he's got really big shoes to fill, obviously, since R.J. Harvey is no longer here. But I think he's going to have a big role in the fall with this offense. He's gotten raving reviews from everybody on the team, so I cannot wait to see more of him in spring practice. But we cannot end without talking about the quarterback room. Andrew, tell us what you've seen.
The biggest controversy and competition on this current team right now. I would say we learned a little bit more this week than we knew last week about these current quarterbacks. And let me tell you what I do know. Starting off with these transfer quarterbacks, the person I think who is leading the charge right now is quarterback Taven Jackson, transfer from Indiana. From what I've seen, his zip on the deep balls, his accuracy and his velocity, throwing the ball in his release as well has been extremely impressive, and I think he's really understanding Coach Frost's system. But I also have to talk about transfer Cam Fancher from FAU. His zip as a lefty is also fantastic. He has been ripping the ball to some of those receivers. I can't wait to see how his accuracy improves throughout spring camp. But we cannot forget about the returning Knights on this team. Obviously, Dylan Risk and Jakari Brown didn't love the way the season ended last year, but they still believe they are good enough, and they still believe they can learn Coach Frost's system just as well as anybody to earn a starting role on this team come the fall. And they're working hard. They're working hard to get into flats, now to get into accuracy, and they're getting all the spatial awareness around them needed to fight for that starting role. So as of right now, Dwayne, it's still an open competition. I would say there's no clear-cut winner, but in my opinion, it has to be Taven Jackson taking the lead.
That's it for us this week. We'll see you for week 3 of UCF Football Spring Practice. For Andrew Cherico, I'm Dwayne Jones with the Sons of UCF.